Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So today we are going to have a look at another distro review. MX 16.1 has been released and I am going to have a look. I installed it earlier today. I did not poke around under the hood. I did have a few looks at the development notes. And then what we'll do is just have a quick gander, talk a little bit about the things that I have seen, and then from there we are going to jump into the distro. I'm going to boot it up into a virtual box, and which experience tells me previous versions of MX16 have worked just fine in the virtual box. So that's what we are going to do. Before we dive into that, if you like this video and you want to keep on following what we're doing here, my general schedule is I do a top 5 or so, roughly, on Mondays. And then somewhere between the week, I try and do a software, I try and do a distro review, and then I do a deep dive on a specific issue on Wednesdays usually. I do a Friday live stream on the news, and I do a Sunday news or a Sunday privacy, mostly privacy talk. So there's a lot of different things that I do. If you happen to be new to the channel, you can subscribe to get more information there. Additionally, you can help support the channel on Patreon. I do this channel, and I'm getting ready to launch some other ones as well. But that is just some quick basic information. So with that, we are going to first dive in at the MX website. And so we're going to have a look at the release notes here for MX 16.1. So if you're not familiar with MX Linux, this is one of the Linux distros that is very regularly talked about as being a distro for people that have lower system resources. It runs the XFCE desktop environment, which is a very light desktop environment. This is considered a, quote, mid-weight OS, but anymore it's, a low-weight OS probably is sufficient. And Kitty wants to come up and say hi.
Hi, everybody. Use MX16. It rocks.
All right, so there's the kitty. He's going to watch us here. And it is like shedding time for the cat, so he's getting cat hair everywhere. Like, look at this. This is like Edward Scissorhands on the cat, and I'm pretty sure you can't see that, but yeah. This cat is shedding. All right. So, what we're going to do here is, here's their main website. They have a lot of the information here. You can, I believe you can, let's see, click on this one here. I think you can actually buy, I think you can buy some, yep, there you go. You can buy the installation media. So if you do not have the option to download the media, you can always buy it here. If you are going to buy media, make sure you're always buying it directly from the site or from a link directly on the main website. So this is osdisc.com, which is a reputable, trusted place to buy distros. And what you can get here is you can get DVDs or you can get flash drives. So you can see here that the DVDs are pretty cheap. Flash drives a little bit more expensive. But you'll see that you'll get all the information there that you need if you need to buy it instead of download it. So that's always a good option. I downloaded the file. I believe it was 1.3 gigabyte, if I remember correctly. And this one here is one of those distros that, what I like about it is it's one of those ones that, for me, I like it because it feels like a complete system. It has tools, it has a lot of other features in it. So first we're going to have a quick look at the MX 16.1 specific release notes. And what are some of the differences? Well, what I looked at here is mostly these are a lot of improvements for people who do not yet have MX16 and are wanting to install it. So a few of those major things here, you can get home folder encryption on install, which is an experimental feature, but it is now available. Apparently there was some issue with some Dell computers that has been resolved, and the auto install now works for UEFI systems. So if any of those apply to you, those are reasons for that. This one here I'm going to look at when we actually dive into the system here, and that is that the official Adobe Flash is included. That's kind of weird to me because, Flash is kind of a technology on the way out, and it introduces a lot of security things. Now, there was MX Flash, which was a kind of a replacement for it. So this could end up being one of those things that, maybe this is a good thing, maybe this is not a good thing. I thought the cat wanted to move, but apparently he just wanted to readjust. So MX16 previously had MX Flash, which is now depreciated. You can still apparently install it or uninstall it if you prefer that, but they do have Adobe Flash installed instead. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but we're going to have a look at that. I want to see the versions and see if some things work in there or not. It does say that the Adobe Flash package will work with both Firefox and Chromium. But somebody on the forums did say they were having a problem getting it to work with Chromium, but I didn't read details as to what the system specs were and, you know, what that was. Let's see. They say there's some tweaks here to the default user interface, including a new default theme. If you're familiar with MX16, you will probably notice that. I have played with it a little bit, but I have not used it as a daily driver, so I will not be able to tell you what any of those happen to be. Tweaks to user default, let's see, default user interface, including new default theme. We already talked about that. Hello. They have the default look and MX panel orientation have been merged. So the panel orientation is being depreciated. So that refers to how you set the desktop up. You have, they basically are getting rid of some more legacy features. Let's see. Package installer has improved handling of popular apps, plus access to the test repo. So if you do want to use anything in that test repo, Debian back reports, or Debian. A lot of people yell at me for the way I pronounce Debian. Okay, yes, it is Deb and Ian, based upon, you know, the guy that created it and his wife, blah, blah, blah. But regardless, I generally delete the comments anymore. You're pronouncing stuff wrong. No, I used to respond. I just delete them now. More important things to talk about. All right. Let's see. Normal stable repos from the full catalog tab. Okay. Let's see. Updated manual HTML and PDF formats in the manual, and we have full translations for Italian and Russian. Okay. So LibreOffice is 5.2.6. I'm not sure what that... Let me see. I'm curious what that is on my current system. You won't be able to see my screen, but I'm going to load up my my LibreOffice here. I want to see what I'm actually running right now. Okay, I have 5.1.6.2, and I'm running Linux Mint 18.1 Cinnamon. So it looks like this is a slightly newer version of LibreOffice. Updates to 8.8 Jessie Base. And then, of course, all of the other things here included are what was already. And this is those things that I really like. The reason as I was talking about, the reason I like Linux Mint Cinnamon is because it feels like a complete operating system. It has all of the system utilities I would need, and they don't take up lots of extra space. And so they have the USB makers, just all sorts of other tools, including a boot repair, which is nice. Maybe this is one to keep around for if I have a system not booting right. Which this computer I'm running on, I have the gigabyte BIOS on this thing, and it's like, hate that stupid thing. I cannot manage boot sectors on the BIOS. I actually have to load up a Linux Mint computer and do all of the BIOS interfacing with a terminal, which is, you know, blah, blah, blah. Linux guys should be able to do that anyway, but I'm spoiled in user interfaces. Excuse me, I've been in Windows for 15 years. But regardless, we do have a lot of good things. So the boot repair looks fascinating. I'm not sure how that would work, but next time I have a problem with a boot issue, then I will have to look at that. And then we have one-click extras installer. Okay, so there's a lot to MX16. That's why a lot of people like it. You know, MX16 is a really good distro because a whole lot, you know, it has a whole lot of good features in it. Plus, it's very lightweight. It's a system that's very familiar. For me, if I were using it as a daily driver, I'd take the bar off the side. I'm not a huge fan of the bar running on the side. But regardless, it is a system that works out pretty well. So I'm in the process right now of booting it up, and as soon as it is booted up, then we are going to jump over there and have a quick look. All right, so here we are booted up. And it looks like where I put my my picture here is actually where I'm going to get notifications pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and move my image down there on the bottom. One person is like, why do you always put your image on the video? Well, it's called branding, man. It's called branding. For some reason, this thing's not taking up the whole screen. I don't know why, but oh well, regardless. Is that something on MX16 itself, or I don't know. Whatever, well, regardless, I'm getting these black bars on the top and the bottom. All right, so here we are booted into the system, and we have here the sidebar over here, and this is the thing I'm really not a huge fan of. I really like putting my bar across the bottom, not on the side like this. It's a lot of people like it on the side. You know, it says gives you more space. You know, if a centimeter of space on a screen this big causes you that much problem, get a bigger monitor, I guess. I don't know. It's a matter of personal preference. So I'm not a huge fan of the icon packs. If you follow me a lot, you know I like more traditional icon packs. So I don't like the icon packs built in here as a default. But what we're going to do here is just have a peek under the hood and see what we get. So here we get the, and I forget, I don't use XFCE enough to remember exactly which this menu is. I think this is the Whisker Menu. Somebody correct me if this is not the Whisker Menu, but I think that's what this is called. This is my preferred menu. There are a few menu options you could do. I like this one. It has a search bar. It has a favorites tab. And it has all of your categories. You can make adjustments to this here, including the size. If you want to do something big like this, you know, if you want to do something really tiny and small and do like that, what that they did on starting with Windows and Windows Vista and lock it into something this big, you know, I'm kind of a big fan of just getting something big that I can view all my applications pretty quick. So what we have here is under our accessories, you'll see that we have a whole lot of information here. So we have Vim here as a text editor. Okay, so we have GIMP pre-installed, Mirage, a scanner, Shotwell for organizing your images. A lot of people like Shotwell. I did a video the other day on some of the image editors available, and I was using, of course, I'm forgetting which one I was using. Maybe it was Shotwell. I think I was using Shotwell. But there's a few other imaging tabs that'll do that. I'll go ahead and put a link in there to that video. We have Thunderbird for mail. Firefox is our default internet browser. We have Clementine for music. You know, I like Clementine quite a bit better than I like Rhythmbox. I like Banshee better than Clementine, but if I had the choices, I'd probably use Clementine more than other things. So here we have Simple MPT client. Not sure what that one is. And then Pulse Audio's in here, and then browse and search videos. SM2. Curious. Hey, look at that guy right there. See if there's anything else in here. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So that seems pretty neat there. Just can do a search for videos. So that's kind of neat. Let's have a quick look. One of the things I want to see is I want to see how I want to see that flash that they were talking about. Because that is, to me, that is kind of a question I would have. Let's see. Let me actually just go into our extensions and see if it's... It says Shockwave Flash. Okay, always activate. That said that had Adobe Flash in it. There you go, Adobe Flash Player. Let's have a quick look at the Preferences tools. Okay, allow sites to save information. So this is neat. With this is allow sites to save information to this computer. I'm going to go ahead and switch this down. If you have these Adobe Flash player preferences, use this option down here or the second option. So the problem with Flash, and even though a lot of companies are calling for its end of life, even Adobe is calling for its end of life, and it's a gaping security hole, yet it still continues to be installed on just about everything. A lot of the reason for that is Flash stores the super cookies that allow websites to cross-browser track people. And that is a challenging thing. And so if you block all sites from storing any Flash information on the computer, then you're going to prevent that from happening. So this is a way that you can keep Flash without allowing all of the third-party tracking. You might actually just go ahead and do the second option and things like that. Let's see. We're going to ask if a site wants to use the camera or microphone. Sounds good. Ask if it wants to use peer-to-peer assistance. And here's your basic updates and basic things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a website that I know has Flash because, well, I'm on the development team for them. So why is my connection not secure? Because I have to do that. That's why. Say, I know I have a good working SSL on that. And if I'm going to go ahead and click on my practice, and this will tell me if, since we are getting the dots here, it is telling me that Flash is actually loading. And I am probably not going to remember what my development password is. Oh, I do. Look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and try a quick run here. I am horrible at this game, by the way. I'm just on the development team. I'm not on the playing team. I just manage their websites. But you can go check out this game if you want. It's at redfalconrun.com, and you can practice it for free all you want, and you can actually compete for a prize. Wow, this is like the best I've ever done at that game. That's awesome. But actually, I mean, that's telling me Flash is working on some level. Now, the practice mode, the older version for Flash works. I think last time I knew you had to be on Google Chrome to play the game in the tournament mode, like in the actual competition mode. But that's at redfalconrun.com. And I went there because I knew that Flash actually worked. So that worked pretty flawlessly without any issues. It looks like I do have an update notification. So, okay, we're not going to go ahead and push updates right now. All right. Let me go ahead and look at the customizations here. Okay, so here's a lot of different icon packs. Looks like a lot of them that they have are these kind of square ones. I'm not a huge fan of those icon packs, those kind of the square ones. I'll go ahead and stick with that one there. Here's your fonts, settings, and you'll have to excuse me that I'm not as well versed in this desktop environment. The only place I use XFCE pretty consistently is cubes, and it's customized out of existence. So let's see, I should be able to right click and properties on the panel. That's gives me for the separator. Let's see that's the separator. Okay, hey, that is the Whisker menu. I'm trying to find where, see, that's all the separator. That's a launcher. I'm trying to see where I can actually adjust the panel. This is, let's see. And again, this is, there it is. It's on all of them, panel preferences. Hello. So here, this is one of those things I was looking for. So the mode, we have the horizontal. We have the vertical, and we have the desk bar. And it looks like, I think that these might be the ones that they were talking about depreciating. I'm a big fan of the horizontals. However, I do like my bars. I do like my bars at the bottom. So I might grab it. Can I grab it and drop it? I know I can. It's just a matter of... No, not the separator. This is one of the downsides of working with some of the Linux things. Is like the cool thing is that the cool thing is how it's how customizable it is. But sometimes it's like it's different enough that I can't. There it is. So some of the panels you can just grab it. Some of you actually have to grab the bar, and that's the thing I was missing. Is the little bar was over here by the menu. Can I move individual things around? So there we are. Again, you'll notice I'm just kind of setting this up sort of like a Windows type computer. Just my preference. If you don't like that preference, that's cool. Good thing about Linux is we all can make our own decisions there. All right, so here's a solid color, background image, and use system style. So here's all the different items I have on here. So the Whisker menu with a separator. We have the clock, another separator, Windows button, separator, launcher. So that's kind of what we have there. So that's how you can add stuff to your panel over here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's adding a new panel. My fault. Kill that panel. And remove that panel. Okay. Adding a new item over here. Once again, I just don't use XFCE enough. I should use it a whole lot more. It is actually a really cool system. Again, I'd use either this or Mate if I didn't find Cinnamon. Let's see, here's our Libreoffice. Have a quick look at this. So, again, this is 5.2.6.2, a little bit increased version of what I have right now. I love LibreOffice. I'm using this outside of my one Windows computer that I still use to do my writing on. I still really like my my LibreOffice. And let's see what else was on there that looked neat. I'm gonna drop out of this so I can see what else I wanted to have a quick look at. All right. They did say there's some more desktop images. Let's have a quick look at those. Icons. There you go. Yeah, so very nice images. Ooh, I like that one. I usually don't like the man-made structures for my background images, but that's actually pretty cool. All right, yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so there's how we can add the icons to the desktop. Let me right-click. So here I can create a launcher, create a URL, create a folder, create a document. And again, if you see in here, if you're new to Linux and you see where it says empty file here, to create new things inside this menu, what you need to do is inside of your home folder, you will find this thing here called templates, which is currently empty. And then what you need to do is just save an image in there. So if I come over here into Office, for example, and I write a LibreOffice document, now I can save the document, and I'm going to back up. I'm going to go over to Templates. I'm going to call this LibreOffice, LibreWriter document. Now that's inside of my templates. So if I right click, create new document, now I can create a new LibreOffice document. Give it the name, and then there's where that is. I am seeing here that one of the things that some people may not be as used to is we do have it set right now so the icons, you click them one time, and the one-time click on the icons might drive some people a little batty. I am not sure if I'm going to remember how to turn those off or not. Let's have a quick look at the MX tools. So here's your live USB maker, boot repair. Oh, this is the other thing that I didn't mention earlier, is that if you are using an older computer or a lower end computer that has Broadcom devices, the Broadcom drivers are already configured by default, and so you'll have the ability to use those. Here's your codecs installer. Let's have a quick look at the Repo Manager. Okay, so I can pick where I'm at. It's Los Angeles or Utah, two west coasts. Okay, here's my Debian. And here is individual sources. Thing I'm not seeing here is an easy way to add a PPA from the user interface. So at least you can't do it from that screen there. Maybe you can do it somewhere from the user interface. So you should best be able to do it from the terminal. So it looks like, let's see if there's anything else here I want to have a look at. Manuals are updated, Libre, Jesse Base. I guess the last thing we'll mention here real quick is that regarding updates, I know a lot of people, when a new build comes out or a new update comes out, people always ask, can you update? And I know, like from Linux Mint, which is what I use, they don't have a way to upgrade from 8.1 to 8.2, I think. I don't think, anyway. Or was that a different distro I was looking at? I think that was the case in that one. I don't remember. But this one here, apparently, if you are already running MX16, you should see like all of the packages, all of the software that is different should be pushed to the ISO image that you already have. And so you should not need to do any upgrade. It should automatically at least upgrade all the packages that comes with it. So that is just a real brief look at MX 16.1. My overall recommendation on this distro is if you happen to have a lower end computer, you want to run a very good, very stable system, MX16 is right up there with one of those ones to run. The ones that I would recommend, one of the three, Peppermint, MX16, or Linux Lite. And pretty much across the community, it's a pretty much a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, which one should you run? I personally use Peppermint on my low-end computer. It runs awesome. But, you know, when I installed Peppermint on there, I didn't know about MX16 at the time. And so this one here, the difference is Peppermint is based mostly on Ubuntu with some Mint thrown in there for some spice it up. MX16 is based on Debian. And Linux Lite, I forget the specs on Linux Lite, which one that's from. Some people, I think more people have had issues with Linux Lite rather than the other two. So if you do have a lower end computer you want to run a good Linux distro on, MX16 is an awesome distro to run on it. So MX16 or Peppermint, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one. So that's kind of what my thought is. Once again, if you like the video and you want to help support the channel, you can support me over on Patreon. And other than that, I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.